What's going on, guys? It's Cliffy here and welcome to my second episode of Uncovering Pompeii. Now, I haven't really uncovered too many other players since the first episode, but we have been, I guess you could say, active in the transfer market in the sense that we have been inquiring about quite a few players, and yeah, I think we've sold a couple of players as well and have a few offers for a couple of players as well, a couple of young players that I've decided to go and hang on to, because really in FIFA, especially in career mode, having young players, I think, is something that I've just always done. Like, I just always... Ooh, it's not a bad free kick. I just always prefer to have that youth and go and try and build it up and try and see, what their growth is and what they're going to get up to. But then it is also good to have the mix of experience. Like, my backline at the moment is very experienced. Goalkeeper who's probably in his prime at about 28. I've got a couple of defenders who are on the wrong side of 30, like they're probably pushing towards their mid-30s, so they're getting towards the end of their career. But then I think one of my defenders is actually a young right-back, so it's good to have that mix of youth and experience, I feel. And with my strikers, I guess I kind of have that, because I've got a couple of real young players, like Story, who's on the ball now, and I think it's... Oh, I can't even remember how to pronounce it, but a player who is probably one of the stars of the club, one of the future stars of the club, I would say. He's only 20 years old, and he's already doing pretty well. And couple that, I've got a couple of strikers who are about 27, 28, so they're probably at their prime. So it's good to have that mix up front. For some reason, when I did start the game, though, it told me to go and just search out strikers because we needed a striker, which was strange because we had about 6 strikers in the squad, and I'm not a guy who's going to go and play a massive amount of strikers. Quite often, the later I get in my career mode, I prefer to go and stack my midfield. I don't know why, but I would probably prefer to play 5 in the midfield. I actually, when I was back at high school, we were talking about, this must have been a wee while ago, probably maybe my first year, no, it couldn't be my first year of high school. It might have been, actually. It might have been, I can't remember. But anyway, we were talking about it, and it was making, like, we were making dream manager mode teams, career mode teams on FIFA. And the formation I came up with was actually quite funny. It was only 1 striker up front, 3 at the back, and 6 in the midfield. I think I had 2 holding midfielders, a centre mid, a centre attacking mid, and 2 wide players. I guess you could class the wide players as wingers, but thought he was through. But yeah, that was quite funny. And I guess that kind of just has emphasised the fact that I like to have a stacked midfield, and it just, I think the more players you have in the midfield, the greater possession you're going to have and the greater ball retention you're going to have. And because of that, the more ball you're going to have, the less of the ball your opposition are going to have, and the more chances you're probably going to go and create. But that's just my theory. A lot of people like going, with 3 at the back as well. I probably prefer to play 4. 5, not really, because wing backs, yes, I understand them, but I don't really like them. I prefer just to play the 4 at the back, and then 5 in the midfield. Not really a 4-3-3 kind of guy. I don't really like playing 3 up front. I think it just depends really on the game situation, who you're playing, and the players that you have as well. So at the moment we've got good midfielders, but I don't think they'd make 2 good wingers. I just don't think they're skillful enough. Shooting's probably not good enough, and because of that, not going to go and play them as wingers. So I can't believe I went off on a completely different tangent. I was talking about transfers and then strikers, and then went into formations and talked about formation for almost the whole half, as that player there is offside. The referee's only just noticed it. But yeah, I guess that's formations that I like to go and play, and I do, yeah, I don't know, I like to fiddle around with formations. I do quite like the diamond formation. That's something that I've used a lot recently in career modes in FIFA. Especially the narrow diamond. I quite like that, because when I was starting off in FIFA 13 and FIFA 14 in career mode, I brought a lot of players from the A-League and a lot of New Zealand and Australian players because they were cheap, and a lot of them were central players, and that was the best formation for me at the time. So But again, it just depends on the personnel that you have, and I guess the style of play that you play as well. I'll get in behind Hollands. Oh, just hit it straight at the keeper. Straight at the keeper. But yeah, anyway, today, I can't believe I'm only just saying this in the second half. We're playing in the Johnson's Paint Trophy. This is the first round coming up against Bury. And it would be nice to go and grab a win because we do have, you know, a few of those players, a few of those inquiries that I would like to go and maybe try and pick up before deadline day, because deadline day is just leaving it a little bit too late. I'm one of those managers that would get his business done early in the transfer window rather than leaving it to the last minute. Maybe pick up a couple of late buys, but yeah, try and get the transfer business done early rather than later. Oh, Whisker. What else did I have to say? Rob Taylor, who has been our star striker so far this season. I think he's got 4 goals in 4 games in the N-Power League. He's actually gone off injured. He did something to his ankle. I think he sprained his ankle, so he's out for 3 weeks. But as I said at the start of the video, we've got an abundance of strikers, so it's not too much of an issue. We had that other young fella who was actually saying he was going to leave the club when I offered him a new contract, but he has since decided to stay, mainly because I've upped his money, which, you know, seems to happen quite often in professional sport. I mean, look at Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney said, when was it? It must have been a couple of years ago. How did the keeper save that? Oh my God. Said a couple of years ago that he wanted to move on from Manchester United. And a lot of people saying that basically it was just a ploy for him to get a new contract and get a bit more money. But enough about that. So there are a few players that people may or may not know. Jose Buxter, who I used in, I think, FIFA 12 and FIFA 13 career mode. He used to play for Everton and I always used to loan him out. Or I think I may have just used to buy him because he was quite cheap. Jake Jervis, who I think... Who did he used to play for? He used to either play for Southend or Macclesfield. And then there's another one. Freddie Sears, who actually played for West Ham, I believe. May have played for West Ham, I think. Got an inquiry on him. So, again, strikers, which we probably don't need. If we were going to go and pick up another striker, it would probably involve selling a few of the older statesmen. But I don't... There's no real position that needs too much work in this side. Like, we've got a lot of our bases covered. That's what we needed. We've been waiting for that goal all half, all game. And finally, that is a young talent story that I'm talking about. And he is, wow, he is going to be something special. If I can keep both him and the other young fella, I think it's Dren, oh, I don't know. D-R-E-N-N-A-N. Nan. Drenan? I guess it's Drenan. If I can keep him and Drenan, we're going to be set for a long time in this series, because those two already high-ish overalls for their ages. So if we can, as I said, if we can keep them and they can finish, by God can they finish. I just put the kisses death on him. I always do that. I do that in Don Bradman all the time as well. I always start talking up a player when he's either coming out to the middle or talking out myself. And then I either go and get out or bowl them out. So, oh, Nicky Shorey. Nicky Shorey is definitely the elder statesman in this side. He is getting on now. He is getting old. So we're going to probably need to be looking for... probably want to change my search parameters and start looking for some defenders sooner rather than later. Because as I said earlier in the episode, the defenders are getting a little bit older. And we are going to be looking to replace them probably in the next couple of years. Because I don't think they've got too much longer until they retire. But, you know, who knows? Certain players can play, well, played until they were quite old. You know? And I guess playing in the Empire League too, it's not the most demanding league in the world. The fixturing, yes, could potentially be... oh, it's too close to the keeper. The fixturing, yes, could be a problem because they do play a few more cups. I think they play Johnson's Paint Trophy, which is... It's not available to the big sides, the Premier League, and maybe even the Championship clubs. Or it might be available to the Championship clubs, I'm not too sure. But... You got that, you got the FA Cup, you got the Capital One Cup, along with the league, so You know, it could be heavy scheduling, but I guess the playing ability wouldn't be as high, and you wouldn't need. Well, you'd still need to obviously put in the effort. Don't get me wrong, but it just wouldn't. I guess I don't know. Now that I say it, now that I think about it, I kind of think I'm wrong, and I've kind of contradicted myself. But we haven't contradicted this victory, people. We are moving on to the second round of the Johnson's Paint Trophy after we pick up the 1-0 away win against Bury. It was hard, it was tough, but we did manage to go and get there in the end. Anyway, guys, do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, please do subscribe. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Tune in tomorrow. I'm going to have some more cricket coach. Let me just check. Dutch domination. That's going to be the final game of the one-day competition. See if we can go and pick up the championship. That'll be interesting to see. As I said, hope you're having a good weekend, and we will catch you tomorrow.